Welcome to Sherobeyour podcast, where we will discover that we can be our own heroes in our lives and that we don't have to always look outside for a mentor and for a hero in somebody else. I'm not saying that's a bad thing to do, but I'm saying that sometimes it might be better to realize that you can be your own hero in your life because sometimes it's hard to find somebody else who can fulfill that role. And it's also can be very uplifting for you to realize, oh, I've been able to be a hero for myself by loving this unfortunate traumatic event that I went through, whether it was abuse or losing a loved one or losing a friend or having a relationship end or losing your job, that you were able to rise above that incident and be able to strengthen you and to destroy you with your down. And, speaking from personal experience, I've definitely have had some of those experiences in my life. And I have chosen to let them strengthen me. And yes, there have been times where they've broken me down and made it harder for me to live because I've been depressed or I've been more anxious or nervous because of them. But ultimately, I didn't let myself as well in that state of being broken down for a very long time. And I got myself back up by going to therapy and by surrounding myself with very supportive friends and family and those that were able to help me guide me through that journey. And so today's episode will be about the general view of personal things that I've gone through that I consider I've been a hero in my life. And then the next episode will be going into more detail of some of those events and breaking them down into how they have affected and changed my life, and how they have impacted me more today than how they impacted me when I first disclosed about them and when I was first healing from them. Healing was an ongoing process, it doesn't end, unfortunately. And I think that's actually definitely in disguise because in order to heal and let go of something completely, you're going to be working on that your entire life. And that's something that's really hard. Oh, and also I will want to interview others who have gone through similar experiences, like I mentioned in the beginning of this introduction. So please email me if you want to be interviewed, and you can go into your experience as much as you are comfortable with, and being able to share what you're comfortable with. Because I know sometimes things can be really personal and it can be hard to put things about them. So I will leave my email in the podcast description for you if you are interested. Good morning, and I hope you are enjoying the new podcasts that I created, which again, if you haven't heard of them, one of them is called Shero Be Your Own Hero, and that one was about heroism and inspiring yourself to be your own hero in your life instead of trying to look for others to be your hero or mentors. And then the second one is called Think Out for Your Imagination, and that one is about the imagination I had when I was growing up and how I imagined that I could fold up my house into pocket size and take it with me wherever I wanted. And then the next one is Chats, Barks, and Growls, Combos with Your Pet. That one is probably the most fun one because I get to do my voice. And I get to do Truffle's voice. And just, uh, tell you what I think dogs think throughout the day and what they think about their owners. So that one's fun for me. Good morning. So today's episode will be about why we look for heroes in other people. And I'll be sharing from one article for this whole episode and trying to break down the article with you and discuss it. So I think we do look towards others because we don't think we can be our own hero, which isn't true. We can be our own heroes. So the title of the article is Are Heroes Born or Made by Kendra Cherry, and it's from The Psychology of Heroism. Quote, because personal responsibility is diffused by the presence of others, we believe that someone else will take on the role of the hero. Some people may also have personality traits that predispose them to behave in altruistic and heroic ways. End quote. So for me, I relate to that, and because when I was growing up, I looked towards my parents or my family for heroism, for heroes, and I also looked towards movie characters in movies for that as well. But as I got older, I realized that I could be my own hero, and I didn't have to look for heroes outside of myself. Excuse me. Examples of heroism. When you think about heroism, several recent examples that were in the news might spring to mind. After the tragic theater shooting in Colorado, during the summer of 2012, 3 women who survived the shooting revealed that they had been saved by their boyfriends. The 3 men had shielded their girlfriends with their bodies and died as a result. So I definitely think that's an example of heroism because it reminds me of the brave firefighters in 9/11 and also the policemen that were involved in that as well, but definitely the firefighters with going into the burning towers and trying to save people as much as they could from jumping out of the building as somebody did. I was very young when 9/11 happened, but now that I watch all the recordings when the anniversary comes up of what happened and the reactions, it's not an easy thing for me to watch, but it's definitely important because then I can remember something. I can learn something new each time I watch it and be able to remember that for the future and realize that there are very rare people out there. Defining heroism. True heroism is remarkably sober, very undramatic. It is not the urge to surpass all others at whatever cost, but the urge to serve others at whatever cost. Author Ash, a professional tennis player. Heroism is something that is deeply valued across cultures, but how exactly do we define a hero? What is it that inspires some people to take heroic action? So I think some way to define a hero would be how they look towards others to let me start over. Not how they look towards others, but how they treat others and how they want to, like the quote said, how they want to be able to help them at whatever cost and serve them at whatever cost. And be able to be a good person for other people because that's their passion and that's what feeds them and feeds their soul. Definitions of heroism by experts. How do psychologists and other heroism researchers define heroism? Here are just a few of the many suggestions put forth by various experts. Simply put, then, the key to heroism is a concern for other people in need, a concern to defend a moral cause, knowing there is a personal risk done without expectation of reward, Philip Zimbardo said. What makes a hero? So I relate to that, and because whenever I help with a special event at work, I don't expect anything in return because I love doing my job and I love helping people and I love being the tech genius bar at work and being able to help people in that way and share my gift and being able to use those skills because it's fun for me and it does put me under a little bit of pressure, but I kind of like that feeling actually. I have this skill of acting as cool as a cucumber when I'm under pressure, which I think is a good thing because then I can get a lot done and be able to try to do it efficiently as well. And I'm getting pretty good at that, I think. Why people exhibit heroism. So now that we know a bit more about what heroism is, the question shifts to exactly why people become heroes. Are there any characteristics of heroism that these individuals seem to share? Fairly suggests that there are two key factors underlining the grand acts of heroism that involves a risk of personal harm, risk-taking behavior, and generosity. So I definitely think that I do have both of those things. I am very generous and I'm willing to take risks because I know what it's like to have a leap of faith and to take a risk and be able to help somebody out because you've been helped so many times in the past by others and you want to get that by everything as well. And that is also very generous because you want to keep the goodness going. And you want to do that by, like I said, helping others because you know what it's like to receive help and to accept that you actually need it. And that's the strength, not weakness, in my opinion. So nature versus nurture. One of the biggest questions researchers faces comes down to the age-old debate over nature versus nurture. Is heroism something we are born with, or is heroism something that can be learned? Depends on which expert you ask. But here's an opinion worth pondering. Some people argue humans are born good or bad. I think that's nonsense, explains Philip Zimbardo. We are all born with this tremendous capacity to be anything, and we get shaped by our circumstances, by the family or the culture or the period in which we happen to grow up, which are accidents of birth. Whether we grow up in a war zone versus peace, if we grow up in poverty rather than prosperity. So each of us may possess the capacity to do terrible things, but we also possess an inner hero. If stirred to action, the inner hero is capable of performing tremendous goodness for others. So I definitely think that quote from the article has some good suggestions in it in terms of thinking that everybody is born inherently good, and I was raised to believe that. And I think that's true because we all are able to, do that and be able to, be good to others, and we are also capable of having bad actions, and sometimes the bad outweighs the good, but um, other times it doesn't. And I also think that we need to try to um, keep in mind that even if somebody is perceived as a bad person, they can um, look towards others to that they can try to be, become a good person by turning over a new leaf and being able to do that by giving the chance of others and having those others believe in them, that they can be a good person and that they can try to do better than they were doing in the past. So I hope that you got some good lessons out of this episode. I know it was pretty short, but sometimes shorter is better so that you can absorb it more quickly and be able to enjoy the material rather than a long, boring episode. I hope you were able to get some insight and some lessons and messages out of this first episode of Shiro Be Your Own Hero. And I hope that you will be able to use it to help you guide yourself through whatever you might be going through, whether it's challenging for you or maybe you know somebody else who's going through something that's challenging for them, and be able to help them be there and help yourself be there. I look forward to chatting with you next Saturday again about how you can be your own hero.